This program has been funded in part by Chafin Communications Incorporated, publishers of QW Magazine, the Howard Gilman Foundation, and the New York State Council on the Arts.
In the
Hey! 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 Hey!
in
Hey!
in the
Hey!
in
You're a friend of Dorothy's.
Light in the loafers,
That way.
on the bus,
If you sing in the choir,
wear green on Thursdays,
out of the closet,
then you are in the life. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gary Miller and the New York City Gay Men's Chorus. now, please welcome your host for the evening, comedian and family entertainer, Cage Clinton.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What a way to come out. Thank you. Thank you so much. What a way to come out. So many cummerbunds, so little time. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, welcome to In the Life, which is news and comment and commentary on the gay community. Very, very exciting show. I am your host. This is the show that's going to give new meaning to satellite dish. I'm sure you understand. I am your host, or as I like to think of it, the dominatrix. Well, it's tough to be a dominatrix in a kinder, gentler nation. So I am your host, and I think this makes me one of 3 short-haired women on television today. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's CJ from LA Law. Those fans are here. Maggie from Northern Exposure. Yes, and me, Kate Clinton from In the Life. We are broadcasting from the Times Square studios. Right here is where Geraldo Rivera used to do his show. You're totally wickedly impressed, I can see that. Actually, I think it's right on this spot that Geraldo had the fat liposuctioned out of his butt and injected into his face. Or was it vice versa? Well, anyway, it is a pleasure to be here. This is, the area I'm standing on is fairly slick. But so is this show, so is this show. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, gosh, not another show on gays and lesbians on television. Yeah. Didn't Wayne and Garth and Laverne and Shirley, the Odd Couple, pretty much say it all? Do you know? And I know still at home there are people who are going, a show on gay and lesbians? Ick at night. But luckily we've thought of everything and we are closed captioned for the homosexually challenged. Isn't that wonderful? So, this is a great show because a lot of people just don't know about gays and lesbians. The only way a lot of people know about lesbians is through talk shows, which is not great. It is not great, especially during Sweeps Week. How many of you remember seeing that show about lesbians and every time, and why do they always put the titles under people's heads? Why do they do that? They showed this very fierce Amazonian-looking babe, fabulous, and I can make fun of her because she's my people. And every time she would show up, there'd be a little caption under her head that said, lesbian who hates men. Like we have time. No. And then they show the straight women in the audience who look like they have spit up in their mouths. Don't they? They're like... And never a caption under their heads. Like straight women who think that lesbians are icky. I mean, it's incredible. You tell me how they covered the earthquake in San Francisco and never mentioned the word gay or lesbian. That is good reporting. I mean, they talked to gay men in the Marina District, clearly gay men. They talked to this one guy who was like, well, Bob and I were working in this building right here, and the entire building started to come down around our heads. I could not believe it. We'd been in there a couple of days working on the wallpaper. We had it perfectly planned. And... well, Bob and I had been working together. We've been to couples counseling. Things seem to be going well. Then I feel this terrible rumble, and things start to come down around my head. Isn't that right, Bob? And out comes Bob, a queen in shock. He's like, And they never said gay. They never said gay. They talked to lesbians in Santa Cruz. Clearly lesbians in Santa Cruz. They talked to this one woman. She was like, well, we built this friggin' building. Already you have seen more gay men and lesbian on television, on network television, than you have seen ever. In 3 minutes you've seen it. But I don't know if that counts, the opening ceremonies to the Summer Olympics, but excuse me. Anyway, and we have got a lot more gays and lesbians backstage. They're eager to come out here. They're waiting in the purple room. We've thought of everything. They're waiting in the purple room. We're so excited. We're about to lose control, and we think we like it. But before we get rolling, we do have to have a word from our one sponsor. So we're going to roll the commercial, and we'll be right back.
June 29th, 1969, Stonewall, that historic night when gays and lesbians fought back, signaling the beginning of a new liberation movement. And now, the Christopher Mint is proud to present the Stonewall Collection, a special tribute to that night. For a limited time only, you can own this fine collection of unique handcrafted posable action figures. The Stonewall Collection features Dagger, the Bull Dyke, Ray, the Hustler, John, the Sugar Daddy, Betty, the Femme, Gloria, the Activist, Miss Nina, the Drag Queen, and her friends, as well as those rugged oppressors from the 10th Precinct. The Stonewall Collection. Notice the fine attention to detail. The feather boa and beadwork on Miss Nina. Ray's leatherette hot pants, also available in ultra suede. And of course, Dagger's tattoo. Enjoy them in the comfort of your own home. Order now and receive the handsome paddy wagon carrying case. Other Christopher Mint collectibles have already tripled in value. The Stonewall Collection from the Christopher Mint. It's a celebration of liberation. It's a collection you'll be proud to pass on from generation to, generation.
In addition to these wonderful products, we have more product for In the Life. We have a board game that is a combination of Pictionary, Scruples, and Twister. I told you we thought of everything. It's a must for a party, as are these next guests. They are a must for your next party. Let me tell you, I'm so happy to introduce the great classical, the reggae, the gospel music of Casselberry DuPree.
Tied up in your system with all of your lies. You trade away my offspring, but my culture still survive. You steal our land and rob our natural resource. With genocide and damnation, you discard us with no cause. No cause. You raped my sister, but you can't rape my mind. You castrate my brother, but the tide will change in time. Yeah. I'm tired of the system. I'm gonna tell the people we've got to save the children. We've got to save the children, cause the system can't have my mind. Our bodies are holy temples. The government shouldn't even trespass. You bastardize whole nations cause of your power and your class. Every day to feed our children, you work our bodies to hold your state. You pit us against each other, try to fill our hearts with hate. You raped my sister, but you can't rape my mind. Diggity gong gong, diggity gong gong gong. You castrate my brother, but the tide will change in time. Yeah, yeah. I'm tired of the system. I'm gonna tell the people we've got to save the children. We've got to save the children, cause the system can't have my mind. You write your laws to legalize your crimes. You change the rules for profits and your schools never do define. Prison walls hold our lifeblood, take away our will. Protest of truth brings execution, but our spirit you can never kill. No, never kill. You raped my sister, but you can't rape my mind. Diggity gong gong, diggity gong gong gong. You castrate my brother, but the tide will change in time. Yeah, yeah. I'm tired of the system. I'm gonna tell the people we've got to save the children. We've got to save the children, cause the system can't have my mind. Yes, I'm tired of the system. I'm gonna tell the people we've got to save the children. We've got to save the children, cause the system can't have my mind. I said the system can't have my
Castleberry and D-Pre. Wonderful. We've got a lot of talent here tonight. We are a lot more out than we think we are. And now to illustrate this is a dance created by choreographer Amy Pivar, activist Frida Rosen. It's performed by Amy Pivar and Scot Willingham.
I'm all yours.
No, you're not. We're not doing that here.
No?
We're here to work together, and I'm gay, and it's all about busting apart roles, and when you said that, I felt like it put me in a role that made me uncomfortable.
Well, I didn't mean to put you in a role, sorry. And thank you for calling me on it. I'm not uncomfortable with you being gay. My mom's gay. She's my hero. She's really got her life together. How do you feel working with a straight man? Is that going to be a problem?
No, unless you're not going to follow me.
I'm here to learn from you. I can get a lot from you.
Don't leave. Come back.
I'm quite nice.
1, 2, 3.
About what you said before.
4.
1, 2. About what I can give. 3. I'm really quite nice. 4.
1.
1.
2.
2.
That's good. 3. Nice is good. In fact, it's a prerequisite. 4. But it's not enough. It's necessary.
5.
But not sufficient. 6.
Earlier this year, the film industry achieved a milestone at the prestigious Sundance Film Festival. Recognizing the impressive canon of gay and lesbian films, they assembled a panel to talk about what's being called the new gay cinema. Well, we've assembled our own panel of heavy hitters in the film world to help us understand what all this means for filmmakers as well as for audience. Please welcome Sue Friedrich, an avant-garde filmmaker. Sue and I thought that avant-garde meant just not knowing when to clap. She's the director of the recently released work, First Comes Love. And here in the exciting red Reeboks is Hilton Als, the screenwriter of the critically acclaimed and controversial new film, Swoon. And many of you know this is Todd Haynes, the winner of the 1991 Grand Prize Award at the Sundance Festival for his film, Poison. And finally, it's Martha Gever, the director of the Association of Independent Video and Filmmakers. Before we begin to talk to them, though, first, let's take a look at gays and lesbians in film.
In the beginning, it was the love that dare not speak its name, but all that has changed, or has it? Well, the portrayal of lesbian and gay characters in film has become more common through the decades. What really is the message that's being sent?
Lesbians and gays in film are treated the same way that lesbians and gays are treated in society. And to most people, we're monsters and we're ogres.
Her babbling, her dreadful, obscene babbling.
What kind of babbling?
Fantastic delusions and fantastic babblings of an unspeakable nature, mostly taking the form of hideous attacks on the moral character of my son, Sebastian.
It's one of the first films that we saw, and a film that was actually the first film that I remember seeing where lesbianism was introduced was The Children's Hour. And clearly there were so many negative messages about lesbianism in that film, that it was something to hide, something to be ashamed of, and when finally the character is outed and admits that she's a lesbian, she hangs herself. And there's certainly no ambiguity there.
In the 70s, gays and lesbians in film weren't always committing suicide, but none seemed too happy about their sexual orientation. The 80s were a breakout era for lesbians and gays in film. The closet doors were opening, for better or for worse.
The decade started with a film like Cruisin', but ended with a film like Torch Song Trilogy. And certainly, there's significant improvement here.
Torch Song Trilogy, the movie, is a man's story, a life story of a man trying to find his place in the world, a world that isn't necessarily built for him. And he builds because he's brave of spirit true of heart, builds a place, builds a world within the world for himself to exist. I have taught myself to sew, cook, fix plumbing, build furniture. I can even pat myself on the back when necessary. Also, I don't have to ask anyone for anything. There's nothing I need from anyone except for love and respect. And anyone who can't give me those two things has no place in my life.
In the 90s, work from independent filmmakers with lesbian and gay characters became a much larger part of the mix, and the community really started to make its voice heard.
I think the pressure is forcing more writers to write gay characters into scripts.
Gus Van Sant, after, quite frankly, after Drugstore Cowboy opened and was very well received and was doing reasonably well at the box office and all that sort of stuff, had a script, which of course was My Own Private Idaho, and he was shopping it around. And it was the sort of situation, he kept shopping it around and shopping it around, and absolutely people wouldn't even, in Hollywood, wouldn't even admit that they had read it. I mean, they were so horrified at the subject matter.
Get back in the closet. Bow your head. Submit. Be quiet. That's what we're being told. And many of us are only beginning to hear that and to respond accordingly.
It's important every time homophobic, misogynist, or racist images are put out that we are out in the streets or writing letters or at meetings with these people pointing that out. It's the only way we're going to turn it around.
Clearly the message that lesbians and gays are giving to a variety of media outlets is that we won't take it anymore, and it's time that you start portraying us in a fair and accurate way. And I think that things can only improve.
I just want to be there. If they ever do find a cure. Can you imagine what it'd be like?
Like the end of World War II.
Thank you. We've just seen a film clip talking about what is the new gay cinema. I thought we'd hear from our panel of experts. What is the new gay cinema? Todd, how about a start?
I think it's a really optimistic term, and that's good to be optimistic and to try to create a sense of energy that stuff is happening. But I also feel that we have a lot more work to do in making that new cinema more diverse, getting out of a solely feature film definition of what film is, and getting the venues for distribution and exhibition of this work more fueled, funding-wise, in every other way. So it's exciting to see the panel at Sundance, but I also think there's problems yet to struggle against.
What do you see some of the problems for the new gay cinema, some of the absences? Martha?
Well, clearly, and I think Sundance was an example of this, there's an absence of lesbian feature films. There's an enormous amount of activity going on amongst lesbian media artists, making short films and video. And I think we need to talk about that as well. If we constrain it to a discussion, as Todd points out, to feature filmmaking and to film at all, we're cutting out an enormous amount of lesbian work, which is just as exciting, but isn't going to play in your local cinema.
What kind of media are the new lesbian filmmakers or video makers using to get their point across?
Well, I guess I wanted to say that in terms of the new gay cinema, it's something that people are talking about this year, but for the last 5 or 10 years, there's been an enormous amount of production in non-narrative film, in non-feature films. And one good example is that for the last 6 years, there's been a gay and lesbian experimental film festival in New York, and every year there are hundreds of films shown. So it's sort of interesting that that goes on, and then when there are 3 feature films that are released, suddenly we have a new gay cinema.
I thought that the new gay cinema was very old. It seems as if history really doesn't play much of a part in the way that new sort of gay filmmakers have been co-opted by the press. I would really begin a discussion of the new gay cinema with maybe Andy Warhol, Jack Smith, Marie Menken, Ken Anger, people like that, on and on and on. The problem with media and journalism is that you have to sort of live in the moment. You have to make it as immediate as possible. to be consumed by the audience over and over and over again. And what happens, a bad thing that happens is that they make of these filmmakers ideologues who were supposed to be expressive of a gay sensibility, whereas I think that it's very important to express the sensibility of the self, and in that, sexual preference plays a part, but isn't necessarily the entire narrative. And I think that it's important for the young filmmakers who are working now to resist the temptation to be cataloged as such.
Well, we actually have a clip from a filmmaker and a reviewer, B. Ruby Rich, in which she gives her opinions about the new gay cinema. Let's take a look.
What's been most interesting to me this past year has been the arrival of a whole new gay male cinema and a whole new lesbian video practice that I think is unlike what's come before and very, very exciting. There's a way in which these kinds of films can be marketed, especially, I would say, with some cynicism and concern, especially if they're made by attractive, young, articulate white men, because that seems to be what's working. Now, when it comes to women, when it comes to people of color, of either gender, I think that the success is not quite so instantaneous. Suddenly we don't look like everybody's son anymore. I think it's important not to buy into this myth of hegemonic communication. I think it's important to realize that there are many, many different ways to get images, information, documents to people.
Well, I appreciate anyone that says hegemonic. I don't know about you. But Sue, you've been producing films for 15 years. Is this your experience?
12 years. I'm not that old.
Only 12 years, Sue.
Yeah, I think it's there's a lot of great work that's been done. And of course, before I started making films, I mean, for the last 30, 40 years, there have been a lot of good independent, short, experimental films. I think we all, like this straight people, grew up watching big movies. So we all, in some ways, want that image on the big screen. We want to see ourselves on the big screen, just like straight people want to see themselves on the big screen, and that's why they're always there. And so I really understand that impulse, but I think we also should recognize the value of seeing ourselves on a smaller screen, which means seeing ourselves more like we are. And I think in a lot of that independent work or experimental work, it's just more like us than the way we look even in Desert Hearts, which I adore, but it's still like somewhere out there bigger than life. And some of this work is more about our life, I think.
I think in the experimental venues, there's always been as much of an emphasis, if not more so, on form and style and experimenting formally with the ways that we tell stories. In the market, in Hollywood, and in even some of these new features that have come out, there's a slightly more traditional way of telling these stories. And Longtime Companion was a breakthrough film in certain ways, but I think stylistically, it looks like many other straight narrative films. It just switches the sexual preference of its central characters. And I think, so whenever we look at these terms, the new gay cinema or whatever, you look at the fact that they're often due to a marketplace. That's why those terms are made, not really the reality of the work that has existed for years.
We have somebody who's talking a great deal about the role of a woman of color who produces films. She's from England, and her name is Pratibha Parmar, and we'd like to roll the clip right now.
I see my role as a filmmaker, yes, in creating images and representations of lesbians and gay men of color, as well as people of color, but I don't think that that's my only role. I think it becomes quite difficult when you yourself are a person of color and a lesbian making videos or making films, then the sort of the burden of representation that is thrust upon you to represent all these different groups that you supposedly represent and that you come from. And I try and shirk away from that, really, because I don't think that those are the only images that I'm interested in making. I'm also interested in creating images that feed our desires and our fantasies and our dreams as people, both as people of color and as lesbians and gays.
Let's talk about representation. I know that a lot of times when I try to write non-gay material, I'm at quite a bit of a loss. I'm not even interested in it, actually. But why, thank you. But let's talk about representation and what responsibility you feel as a gay filmmaker to the community. Does it hold you in? Is it freeing?
I always assumed I was being ignored by the powers that be. So in a way, it sort of freed me to sort of depend on what I wanted to say more as what I wanted to say, rather than being sort of boxed in and categorized as this A and B, and oh, he can only do C because he does A. I think it's terribly unfair, and again, it goes back to the way the media in general perceives a person who is outside the forum, and it's stultifying, really, and you begin to not only doubt yourself, but have severe doubts about how yourself can be communicated to other people.
And I think, too, we get very marginalized by the whole
notion
of...
You do. It's extremely tiresome. And generally, you're much smarter than the people you have to depend on because, well, just because you have depended on yourself for a long, long time and not any sort of valorization. So you go, let's say you have a story and you say, I'd like to do a story on X. Why do you want to write on Flaubert? Don't you want to write on James Baldwin? Well, I've written on James Baldwin. Well, what do you know about Flaubert? Well, everything. You know, it doesn't, it's a very, very, very sort of intense struggle, and it becomes a very intense inner struggle as well.
I think one of the problems that we have then is we get labeled, and it's difficult to get distribution of our work. This is obviously a very obvious point, but we happen to have Marlon Riggs talking about this very problem of distribution of his work.
I mean, I've always realized that the kind of work I do has to have multifaceted venues of distribution. I don't privilege theaters. I mean, and there are many people who, if you don't show a work in a theater, it's not as if it's really that important. You haven't reached the pinnacle until your work, your cinematic, achievement has been shown within a theater in a darkened room with hundreds of people watching. And I don't think that that is the only critical site of intervening against the dominant representations of us as gay and lesbian people and as people of color. I think it's important to reach people wherever they are, and that is in classrooms, so my work goes there. That is in churches, it goes there. It is in bars and, I mean, divey places that I have gone and presented work and spoken, because that is where people are. And if they are unwilling to go into the theater or into the museum, which my work has been shown in those kinds of places too, then I will reach them where they are comfortable in order to begin that nurturance of personal and, by extension, political empowerment.
What can people like us do from the hinterlands to get more avant-garde films to our theaters?
Write to your congressman.
Write to your congressman, thanks. Martha?
Yeah, I do a lot of work around those issues, and I think access is the key term here. It's not something that's going to be handed to us, and as we well know, since we are where we are. But rather, I think that we have to really make demands on those structures, those institutions that have the power of disseminating media. And public television is one of the most accessible, should I say, insofar as it is public. It is something that's paid for by the public, and it has a responsibility back. I think this program is a great first, well, it's not the first step, but it's a great step in that direction, but I think a lot more can be done in terms of getting the work of already working gay and lesbian filmmakers, both documentary and avant-garde.
Absolutely, and we would like to end with that plug for PBS. And we'd like to thank Sue and Hilton and Todd and Martha. Don't forget to write to your congressman, get the films that you want, and thank you very much.
In the Hi, I'm Debbie Harry. And this is In the Life.
One of the things we gay people are famous for is creating our own version of family. Here to perform from their work, Brave Smiles, is one of our most infamous queer families, the Five Lesbian Brothers from New York's Wow Cafe. So let's go now to an orphanage at the turn of the century.
No girl. Shh. Leave her alone, damn well. She's an orphan. I've got news for you. We're all orphans. Not me. I've got two parents.
Oh. I do so. I have a mother and a dad, and we live on Strawberry Lane in Hootsville. And when I grow up, I'm going to run an orphanage made of toast. Warm, buttery toast, and at night, when you feel like crying, you can take a nibble.
You're silly. If you took a bite of toast every time you felt lonely or sad, you'd weigh in at 12 stone. No, girl. Please be quiet. Girl, I'll give you 20 cents if you stop that crying.
Be sensible. All your people are sensible. That's what our maid used to say. That's why your people have pots of money.
Damn well, you're an oaf. You're the rich one.
Oh, you're right. Damn well, can't you be quieter? What if Pussenheimer hears you? What if she does? If Frau von Pussenheimer came in here right now, I would say, I'm so sorry to bother you, Ludmilla. But Wilhelmina was just telling us about how often she dreams about kissing you.
Damn you, damn well.
What if Frau von Pussenheimer hears you and comes in instead of Miss Phillips? Oh.
Where's Miss Phillips?
Oh, she's our guardian. She's heavenly. Why, when she looks at you right in your eyes, you could just faint and die from it.
You'll see. She comes and tucks us in each night.
And sometimes, when the mood strikes her, she gives us each a little kiss. Will, tell us a story.
One night, I slipped away from the school. A truck drove by. I jumped on the back. I dozed. I dreamt of the ocean and a night full of stars. An old sailor man found me. He said, "Hey, boy, come here." He reached into my pants. He didn't find what he was looking for. He said, "Damn." He shoved me and I ran. Later, I became a star in Paris.
That's not true.
It is so.
Shh, she's coming.
Good evening, girls. Good night, damn well.
Good night, Miss Phillips.
Oh. Will, sleep tight. Millicent, don't let the bed bugs bite. Little Talia, welcome to the Academy. I'll see you in the morning, girls.
In our community, we count on the most uniquely talented individuals to say the things we are most afraid to say and hear. It is my great pleasure to introduce John Kelly singing To a Friend from his ensemble work entitled akin.
You go on ahead, I'll be with you soon. No one is exempt, none of us immune. It may take a while, what's a year or two? You go on ahead, I'll catch up with you. 11 years and counting, and there's no relief in sight. 11 years and counting, close your eyes and say good night. What it will be like, we've no way to know. Still my hand's in yours and I won't let go. I'm as scared as you, but we know we'll find someplace better than what we leave behind. 11 years and counting, and so many deaths untold. 11 years and counting, we're too young to be sold. For there's kindness there, and no use for shame, and no time at all for assigning blame. No one tends the walls they've so quickly built. On one side, in a sense, on the other, guilt. 11 years and counting, all of us are innocent. 11 years and counting, all of us are innocent. 11 years and counting, and there's no relief in sight. 11 years and counting, close your eyes and say good night. You go on ahead, I'll be with you soon. No one is exempt, none of us immune. It may take a while, what's a year or two? You go on ahead, I'll catch up with you.
Before I go on, I want to talk to you about a little chant that I want you to do. The first part you know all about, it's act up, fight back, fight aid, check, check, check it out. The next part to complete the craze is add 3 beats between each phrase. It's act up, we demand health care for all, fight back. Get on the ball, fight AIDS. Hysteria in this New York AIDS disaster area.
In the
We are fortunate to have with us the best gospel tradition has to offer. Here to wow us with their incredible ability to reach those higher notes, please welcome the Lavender Light Gospel Choir performing Every Time I Feel the Spirit. Lavender Light Gospel Choir. Woo! We feel the spirit. We feel the spirit. Woo! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Woo! Yeah. Woo, I feel the spirit. Thank you very much. I'd like to close tonight by just telling you a little bit that we all know that how hard it is to come out to someone. A lot of us have come out to people, and like we come out to people, we say, I'm a lesbian and everything. And actually not everything, because we do have some secrets. I remember I came out to a friend of mine, I told her I was a lesbian, and she actually said to me, well, you certainly have made a commitment to joy in your life. And you know, I almost denied it, but it's true. As lesbians, as gay people, as thinking people, we have made a commitment to joy in our lives. Yes. Yes. That's right. And another person, another friend of mine once said, you know, when you get up in the morning, each of us has to decide whether we're going to save or savor the world. Well, it affects scheduling. It does. But we know it's not a question of save or savor. We know we have to do both. We have to save and savor the world. And it's a world that would like to quarantine our joy and would like to gentrify the wildness of our souls. But we are saying that we won't have that. Let's hear it again for the Lavender Light Gospel Choir, the New York City Gay Men's Chorus, John Kelly, Amy Pivar, Casselberry DuPree, and the Five Lesbian Brothers. Thank you all so much. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
This program has been funded in part by Chafin Communications Incorporated, publishers of QW Magazine, the Howard Gilman Foundation, and the New York State Council on the Arts.